Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shareen. I'm an interior designer in New York City, and in this video we are going to talk about a few sustainable ways to do some design within your space. And what do I mean by that? I mean reusing stuff. What can be reused? Well, here's the thing. When you take the time to invest in proper finishes like wood, you can reuse that in other spaces. And in this project, I'm going to give you 3 examples of how we were able to reuse something and make it work for us. The first thing that we're going to do in this kitchen is we are going to remove this situation here. So prior to this pegboard, there was a microwave that lived inside of here, and it was built in, but it's very deep and it runs through to the dining room and the other side. What we're going to do is we are going to build some consistency and a repeat of the design throughout the kitchen. So we're going to update the backsplash that runs through here, and we are going to update it with this clay tile that's in my hand right here. It's going to be designed so that it sits vertically and it stacks all the way up. We're going to do 3/16 of an inch separation, going kind of almost as small as you possibly can, with a gray grout, like a gray silver, very light, almost alabaster grout that goes throughout this to really brighten up this kitchen as much as possible. We don't have any light over here except for this, and that light box is actually exterior from the wall because, as I mentioned, this wall is concrete. When we remove this pegboard, the light box is exposed. What I would love to do is put in a stream of LED light that lives beneath the shelf so that this entire countertop lights up and we get some additional storage without spending an arm and a leg on cabinetry. All right, so moving right along here, let me just show you what the other side of this looks like. We are going to be closing up that hole where the microwave was. And then we're going to reuse some of these features to make a more sustainable option for the design. We're also swapping out this light fixture here, this outlet here, for a newer, slimmer, cleaner, modern light fixture, and then garnishing some consistency through the light fixtures in the space. We're of course using my favorite screwless wall plates. These are amazing, and it just gives it a really modern and clean look. As with most designs, there's usually some like little trickle of something that has to get fixed. In this case, it's literally a trickle of plaster from some previous damage that was going on. Be sure that you call the right contractors to look at this and that you test for liquid inside before you take that on and paint it and make it look seamless. We're also updating the baseboards in here. This room did not have baseboards. It had kind of a rubber bottom, which went with the cork, but wasn't a nice and clean look. So here we're going to put up some trim. We'll do rectangles on the top and the bottom, actually more like squares. It's going to be more like a square shape on the top and the bottom, and a chair rail in the center. We are going to update the drapery in here, and we've pulled out this wooden panel that was up here where the drapery lived, and we're going to reuse that wood for something else. So this space has a really tricky kind of situation. This entire great room that I'm walking through right now only has one access point for light, and that is it over there. So they've strategically placed this super long track light, which highlights the art going down the wall, but it doesn't give us access to any other light in the room. So what I'm going to do is put in a soffit around the ceiling, and within that soffit we are going to add LED lights that come around this whole perimeter. It's going to be a great way to lighten up the space and goes behind the millwork that we're working on designing. This side of the kitchen has the existing backsplash that the previous owners had. They never really finished grouting it, and in order to get that repeat and symmetry running around, we're going to run this up in a vertical fashion. Subway tiles are really, really versatile. You can use them plenty of different ways. You can get an inexpensive 3x6 like this, and you can lay it brick, you can lay it stacked, you can lay it herringbone, you can do chevron, Your contractors probably won't like you as much if you opt for the last two, but any of those are fairly fancy and fun ways to lay your subway tiles, which are an inexpensive tile, but you can step it up with the labor in order to come up with a really creative design. Over here, we already have lighting beneath the cabinetry, so we didn't have to change that. There's lighting beneath the cabinetry on this side, under cabinet lighting over there as well. But I thought that this would be a fun way to continue to brighten the space. You may also be noticing this kind of like interestingly textured wallpaper, which we're going to nix in this space. And we're going to continue to brighten it up by using a highly reflective, bright color in the kitchen. So that's what's gonna happen next. We're gonna swap out this oven for a new oven for the client. We're gonna swap out the faucet and put in something that they'll be able to use a little bit easier than this style of more of a vintage type faucet. And we are gonna swap out the oven induction top that's over there. We have the option to just change the grills. And then we also have the option to change the top, and I think she's excited about changing it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we're gonna infuse some new electrical in here by doing the light on that side. We're gonna update the fluorescent lights that are in here and go for LEDs, which will be a lot more fun. And this is gonna play really nicely with the lighting plan that I have for the great room. A lot of the things that we need to do as far as reusing will happen with natural pieces of wood. We found a gold mine in some storage that was created in this space before, and we're gonna recreate that on the opposite side of this dining room. We're gonna hide it and tuck it behind the drapery so that you can't even see it, but it still gives the client the option of storage. We're gonna scuff it up a little bit, sand it and paint it so that it matches the wall and feels like it's all cohesive with everything else that's going on in the room. And then these other pieces that are hanging above the frames of the former window treatments are going to be utilized as new baseboards in the kitchen. This kitchen has some vinyl flooring, and the previous owner had placed a piece of that vinyl as the baseboard to run around the kitchen. And it's because baseboards can be pretty pricey because they're wood. If you want to save money on them, you can do MDF. If you want to save any more, you can look for pieces of wood throughout your space and repurpose them in these areas, which is what we're doing here. Concrete ceilings are tricky. I think the best way to work with them is to put in some sort of soffit that can line around the perimeter and make sure that you're getting an ambient light coming into the space, and then utilizing layered lighting. So task lighting and accent lighting on top of that, like lamps, either floor lamps or table lamps, can also help. You can do up lighting and down lighting, like small pieces behind pieces of furniture, which would be fun. In this case, when we redo the millwork for this bookcase, there will be additional lighting over there. And I think that that would be a really great asset to the room in order to bring light all the way through. So looking forward to seeing it coming together, but just wanted to give you a few tips of what we could do with bringing in lighting, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you chose to be with me, and I appreciate that. I'm thankful for you, and I will see you next time, Thursday after next. Ciao.